Entertainment every weekend.
Check this.
Felcha Gatinya, Gaji DL Debate Brendan Devenney and Highland Radio. Welcome one and all to the DL Debate. Thanks so much for tuning in. Now on Highland Radio or back via the podcast. Joe, how are you? Producing here as ever. Joe Dex is with me, keeping everything in order. Folks, we have another packed show in store for you this evening. Coming up later in the show, I'll speak with the man himself, the great Peter Canavan, on all things Tyrone, their relegation, looking ahead to the Ulster Championship. I caught up with him Friday night myself, Trass and the boys. Actually stayed up with him in great hospitality, rooms, food, the whole lot. He actually has his own whiskey as well, Canavan whiskey, which fair play to him. Probably something I could do without. Joe, you're laughing there. That would be a bad idea, but this is great catching up with Peter. Hey, top man. Later on we're going to hear from Roger McShane, Donegal Masters player and chairman, after their trip to Glasgow, where they were received at Parkhead. They walked out in front of the Celtic pitch and everything when they got through. Some experience that. I'm looking forward to hearing that from Roger McShane. We'll then hear from a Cools man, Gary Wilson. They're having a big up for the match in the Ballard Theatre this Saturday night. I'll be there hosting, and that should be a powerful evening. We have some great guests coming. Gary's going to fill us in and all that later. A couple of top dairymen. We have a top dairyman waiting in the wings here now, the great Enda Muldoon, former dairy star. He's going to be joined by Ryan Bradley shortly to look ahead to the big match, Donegal and Derry, and we chat about, of course, what happened at the weekend as well in the league finals. I was down covering the games for RT yesterday, so yeah, it was an interesting day. I didn't actually get home I was a wee bit late back. Joe, you're laughing there, yeah. You better keep me right tonight, sir. I'm going to need all the help I can get. Just from the weekend, Donegal ladies finished up their league campaign with a defeat to Cork. It was a good Cork side. It was 1-8, only 3 in it. They have a long wait now until the Ulster Championship final, where they play Armagh, May 17th. It's a long wait for the team for Championship, and of course some great ding-dong battles with Armagh this last couple of years. Our under-20s have been going well, big victories over Antrim. They beat Fermanagh as well. I was at that game last week, and they beat Down as well, playing Tyrone now midweek as well. Our minors defeated Armagh as well in the Ulster Minor League semi-final. So all things going well underage for Donegal. But as I was saying, folks, we're going to look ahead to the big match at the weekend, and I'm delighted to say, joined by a couple of sharpshooters, of course, one of our All-Ireland heroes from 2012, Ryan Bradley, and I say Enda Muldoon, 2 top forwards in their day. Lads, looking forward to this chat. How are you getting on?
Aye, good, Brendan. Hope you can hear me, can you?
Can, surely, Enda. You there, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm here, Brendan. I'm doing very well.
Good man, lads. Listen, thanks so much, lads. Listen, great to have you on the show. I'm just looking from Derry's perspective, Enda, got into this game at the weekend, and just what you've seen from the league and the league finals at the weekend, the new rules. There's so much going on at the minute. Did you catch any of the games at the weekend, and what did you think of the outcomes? A few kind of shocks in there.
I didn't actually catch the Monaghan and Roscommon game now on Saturday evening. Brenton, I was out, but it was a great win for Monaghan. They'll be delighted to where they're at. They're back in the Division 1, and they're sitting nice and pretty for the winners of the Derry Donegal game, so they'll sit back and watch this weekend and study their opposition. As for the Kerry Mayo game, it was probably everybody has spoken about it now, and probably has talked about it, a match that nobody wanted to be in, or a league final that nobody wanted to be in, but you can't happen to be impressed with Paddy Clifford. Every game I've seen him this year, I just keep getting more impressed with him, and I think he's become probably the most influential man for Kerry at the moment.
Definitely. And Ryan, just looking at the games for the weekend, I thought very much Limerick, you think about that template with the new rules to sit, and as you know, you're part of a brilliant counter-attacking team as well. They really did a bit of a job on Wexford. I was surprised second half Wexford didn't come to it. You seen Monaghan, the way they really tightened up in Roscommon. The 1v1 battles now are becoming huge again, Ryan. Defenders having to step up a bit, but Monaghan really strangled, I thought, Roscommon for long periods of that, and they made a very spirited, awfully team that came and took it to Kildare, and I suppose that them and Limerick were underdogs, and then we had a bit of a flat Division 1 final, and as Enda's saying there, it was a final that nobody seemed to want to be in, and that's how it played out in terms of the entertainment.
Yeah, well, I think Kerry were always strong favourites for that game, and I think seeing the last few league games, Kerry have been hitting a bit of form, so you would expect them to win that game, and maybe they weren't. Both teams might be trying to show their hand for their upcoming championship games. It was a wee bit flat, but I think Kerry just done enough. They knew what they had to do to see out the game, and I think that's all they really wanted to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? I think we were there, Ryan, expecting this firepower that Kerry had. We've seen it throughout the league, the array of goals and the talent that they had. But the game just got very pedestrian. Like it, when Jack O'Connor himself said it's just another game, which I found a bit amazing, seeing as, his NFL victories before have preceded All Irelands. And with Kerry not having a game for a few weeks, you would have thought they would have really enjoyed, I suppose, a game in Croke Park with the new rules as well would have been another great test. And then the game just seemed to wilt. And again, Mayo's frailties in terms of having out and out top forwards was their Achilles heel again. Yeah,
it seems to be. We seem to be saying the same thing about Mayo every year. We always think they're going to change it, but I do think they probably didn't use Aidan O'Shea as much as they should be using him when he's in full forward. They should be putting more ball in them, putting Kerry under a wee bit more threat. But yeah, with Kerry not got a game for a few weeks, you think they'd be chomping at the bit, to get out and express themselves and maybe give more players a run and see what the squad's like. But again, as Enda says, the league final has been getting a bit of a bashing, the last few weeks. And maybe that's something they have to look at, for next year. They maybe pull it back a wee bit to give teams more preparation for the championship,
Yeah. What you feeling on that, Enda, just around the timing? And listen, when I spoke to some players there that were involved in Division 4, and they were saying at the time they were close to maybe making a league final, and they were saying that would be the biggest game for them of the season, Croke Park in a final. So certainly for the teams in 2, 3 and 4, they really want that game at Croke Park, and Offaly were celebrating. It was brilliant to see that yesterday down at the game. But for the Division 1 teams, it doesn't seem like it's something that anyone seems to really care about. It's nearly like we should just leave that league. Whoever's top wins it, but still play the showpiece for the other divisions. Do you think that would be fair enough to do that?
I don't. I like at the end of the day, Brenton, it's a national title. So it is, and I think it needs to be shown the respect that it deserves. So there's, I think there's something the hierarchy can sit down and look at, and as I hear Jim McGuinness saying earlier on, maybe a couple of matches before or after he was interviewed, and he said that he was disappointed because it doesn't do anything for the sponsors or for the league. It belittles the league a bit. So I think there's something can be done where championship could maybe be pushed back a week or two, or even that week of the break, maybe play it and get it read up and give teams another extra week before the championship begins.
I think it's only fair, and I agree on that there, because what you're saying about sponsors now, it's rightly so, because I think it's up to us to kind of, we're not hyping something that isn't good, but certainly when you hear Jack O'Connor coming out like that, and of course there was Munster Championship launched last week, in the week of the build-up to the league final, which I just thought, that's out of order, I think, in many ways, because look at the crowds was there in the league this year. I think on its own competition, it's very enjoyable as well. But Ryan, just Enda mentioned Monaghan there. You had some ding-dong battles with Monaghan during your time with Jim there, in terms of Ulster finals and that. Are they a team, Ryan, that there's just something about them, in terms of being plucky? And I hate to say punching above the weight and all that, but obviously, small population, but they just always seem to really at county level pull together and always are a teak tough kind of outfit, and that's how they looked again, this new Monaghan team under Gabriel Brannigan.
Yeah, well, we've never had an easy game under Monaghan. I don't think you'll hear many teams after a game say that was handy enough against Monaghan. They always seem to put it up against teams. That never say die attitude. But they had that on Saturday night again. They're very quick breaking from the defence. They had the transition was they were very sharp, very quick, moving the ball through the hands. And that's something they've been working on. It seems to be in this league. I think Ulster Championship they'll be no easy team to beat. Whoever gets them in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, and listen,
especially with their Rory Beggan kicking them frees.
Yeah.
And
and Ryan, he himself
and the
said
forwards
that
kicking them 2-pointers too. There's a lot of 2-pointers kicked on Saturday night.
he himself said that you shouldn't be getting 2 points for that because I think it's so easy for him. He just pitch wedges it over the bar. He just makes it look so easy. And
He's another 30 or 40 metre spare.
yeah, a dangerous weapon they have. And listen, just to say, Bonan sitting and wait for, as you mentioned, the winners of Donegal and Derry, and when you look at Bannigan himself, the player, Gabriel's nephew, you look at Hanlon, Conor McCarthy has had an unbelievable season as well, as Ryan's mentioned there, Beggan, and then the bench the last night coming in as well, doing damage for them. Like they look like they have a real zip about them. I think when they got relegated last year, everybody was saying, oh, we're back to big 3 or 4 in Ulster and Monaghan are gone, but from what I've seen them now against Roscommon, I know it was Division 2, but Roscommon aren't a bad side. They really look like they have something about them again this year.
Yeah, they've definitely got a bench out of obviously the new manager coming in, so they have, and they'll not be easy beat now. And that confidence of winning, it's hard to beat that winning feeling, and the confidence of them winning the Division 2 title, and not leave them easy opposition for either Derry or Donegal in the next round.
Yeah, and Ryan, what have you made Jim Mark 2? Obviously, you were there for the glory of Mark 1. It was a brilliant time. You had an unbelievable playing time under him yourself. Have you the change in nature of the footballing landscape, and of course the huge changes now? What have you made of Donegal in the league? I mean, every game they've needed to win, they've won it if they really went after it. Like, they have been very impressive again, and Jim's record, as soon as he stepped back in, has been remarkable, and winning matches as the song goes.
I heard the song going about again. I hear my boys playing it in the house there a few mornings. I think the league as a whole has been very entertaining to watch. I really enjoyed most of the National League games. It's been high scoring and great forward play. But I think Donegal has adapted to it really well this year. They've got a lot of players back fit, and they have been moving the ball very quick in the attack. And they've been kicking the ball in a lot, which we don't usually do, which is good to see. So I think we've kind of adapted a wee bit more to the rules. And I agree with you. I think even in the last 2 National League games, I think Donegal had enough to win the 2 games. They missed chances, missed the penalty, had the crossbar against Mayo. Probably close to beating Tyrone also. So I think Donegal were very close. I know nobody wanted the league final for Donegal, but we weren't. We were very close to making it at the end.
And then the Derry lads, it was a tough league in many ways. Very unlucky in a few matches, especially I suppose being ahead against Kerry, conceding those late goals, and there was a lot of tough play in there. Probably could have a couple of points on the board as well. 8 points up against Donegal with 15 to go, and I suppose that on the back of last year's defence, McKaig retiring, McKinless, McGrogan injuries. Rogers has picked up an injury. It's been a real tough time for Derry to get back to where they were a couple of seasons ago, which they were basically second in line for a tilt to All Ireland.
Yeah, absolutely. The injuries, as you say, Conor McCluskey involved there too in an injury, and or Lynch now out with an injury. So it's been a really tough time on the injury front for them. So it has. Even just the lack of energy of within the Derry team seems to be a big problem at the minute. Brent, and I don't know how you get that back or how you recover in that defeat against Armagh. It's going to be hard for them to turn around a couple of weeks. Having said that, they did perform fairly well in a couple of games. Like, they should have. Jerry beat the threw it away. They come back well against Galway, so they did. And the Donegal game, like as you say, 8 points up. They should have seen the game out. But look, I just feel that injuries and just that there seems to be just a wee lack of energy now. Look, there's only one way they can go. You would think is get a bit of a lift, but will it be enough for the Donegal game? I just don't know.
What are you thinking, Ryan? Is it a bit dangerous? Enda's mentioned there. Derry in terms of that game. Now, I think Donegal played fairly poorly first half in Ballyshannon, and there was a couple of half goal chances in that, but it took the introduction of Michael Murphy in that second half. Ryan, that 1-7 blitz in the last 10 minutes in particular. I mean, it was that brilliant goal from O'Donnell and some of the scores, particularly from our half forward line as well. Darragh Boyle was top class as ever, and there was, I suppose, Thompson as well, showing real leadership throughout the league as well. So is it a thing where now everyone's thinking there's not a chance Derry come to Ballybofey and won? Is it a dangerous thing for Donegal to be in that so clear favourites in this game?
Maybe it is looking from the inside out or from the outside in, but I don't think Donegal, the squad, will be paying much attention to that. You know, I do think if they're doing the work on the field with Jim and the teams tell them to do, I think they'll focus on that. I do believe Derry's confidence is a wee bit low. You know, that maybe that's why they're not seeing out these games. You know, they haven't the confidence a bit low and they can't get across the line in these games. But with Donegal, you see the bench, even the squad, the last few games, the boys coming on against Derry there, the squad's very strong. The last two games, the squad players showed what they can do, and I think that can only be a good thing for Donegal going forward. You know, if we do get any injuries to the big players, the squad players are looking very capable of coming on and doing the job also, So I do think Donegal's confidence will be very high, but you can never write off Derry. They're still a top side. On the day, it's who performs on the day, who will get across the line.
And you just mentioned a few injuries there. Is McFall a doubt as well? Is there something?
I honestly don't know, Brendan.
Yeah.
I'd expect, I've heard word that maybe he'd play this weekend, but again, he hasn't played that much league football the way he's this year, so it's going to be hard to come in and get up to the pitch of the championship game, especially again Donegal the way they've been going. So it's going to be a big task to bring boys back in. Probably Lachlan Murray could come back in, Lachlan could come back in, but it's a big ask for boys like that there if they haven't been playing league football, and now it's going to be up the notch on Sunday in Ballybofey, So
you could do an Enda Muldoon and Paddy Bradley duo inside. I tell you what,
I don't know that'll be any good.
Well, 2004, you got the All Star, was it? You were lighting it up. You were lighting it up. I'll tell you. Tell me, just on Lachlan Murray there, he had a brilliant game, and I'm not taking anything away from Shane McGuigan, but compared with the Shane McGuigan I've seen, he doesn't seem to be moving like that, and he really was he's one of the top forwards in Ireland the last couple of seasons. But I've only seen glimpses of that in the league. Is that a bit of a worry? I mean, Lachlan Murray's definitely a big plus, but just his form coming into this as well. And if you're going to have any chance, you need McGuigan to be up hitting that 1-7-ish type scoreline to be pushing Derry close to causing Donegal enough problems to win.
Absolutely. Like I know I'm sure there's nobody better than Shane will know that himself, that he hasn't just been firing all cylinders. So he hasn't been, but they definitely need Lachlan Murray and Fitnell Lachlan to complement Shane as well, because take a wee bit of pressure off him. Also, and give him maybe a wee bit more room. Lachlan's a different type of player, so he is than Shane. He's probably more explosive from a standing start too, and can beat men as we've seen against Galway in the league. So it'll be interesting to see if Lachlan starts. But I would think that a full forward line, maybe if Lachlan, Shane McGuigan, and Lachlan Murray could cause problems for Donegal. But the problem is going to be then getting enough ball around the middle to get it into them. So, yeah.
So Rogers is key to that himself and Glass, obviously, if he's injury free. Yeah,
absolutely. I think Brenton will be. I would imagine knowing Brenton, I'd say Brenton will be doing everything he can to be playing. I'd be surprised if he's not. Doesn't start on Sunday. So also they've lost Anton Tuchel. He broke his hand, I think, against Armagh, so he's out. So that leaves another bit of a problem around the middle. So they move Brenton out, then who they put the centre half back. So there's lots of problems for Derry.
Yeah. Ryan, just looking at Donegal's record there and how brilliant they've been the last couple of seasons. What can you give us a wee insight on the gym and the training? Is it non-stop, kind of relentless at training in terms of the attitude and the pace of the game with a serious tactical setup versus opposition? What's the strong points in there? Or is a bit of both of all that there? What's the kind of the message that Jim's able to get Donegal right up to the pitch of it in all these games?
Well, back when we were playing 11, 12 and 13, everything was at 100 mile an hour. It was relentless. It was every night of the week. It was give your all every single night of the week at training. And it seems to get everybody buy into this way of thinking, which is maybe it's his gift. He seems to get all the players to buy into his way of thinking. And everything's done to the letter of the law. There's no excuses any night, and he brings that confidence into players. He makes players feel 10 foot tall. He makes them feel better about themselves, and he's constantly talking to them and driving them on. He's got this aura about them. You know, like you've seen from what he's come in last year and done, and how he's been playing this year so far. He's just lifted that whole squad 15-20% in 18 months. You know, it's you didn't see that. You couldn't have seen that 18 months ago. You know, so,
Yeah.
but it's wait. I don't know. But here's what's going on inside camp now because
No.
it's like Fort Knox.
You're probably
If I'm
even
going by what I've gone through with them, it's relentless.
You don't even want to tell me now, Ryan. That you were such a close shop years later. You still don't want to tell me.
I don't know.
Don't give away the secrets now. You're all right, Ryan. Listen, we're happy enough.
You know,
you
it's
do
funny
your job.
when you hear all the interviews. All the lads are the same. They kind of still don't cross that wee line and give in the snippets.
Yeah. I know Eamon McGee's Lochra Gale spent all his time back in the wild days. I thought, okay, there was a serious bit of football played after that there. Get to the good stuff, but he kind of captioned that in at the end, and even his stuff with the club, you know. But then the scene there for Derry now going into this, and it's been such a brilliant time, and now it's gone. With the whole saga we were gathering, I know you were involved there, and Hart as well, and you've seen so much stuff there. And does Paddy Tally need time now? It really seems like there isn't any time for Derry. It's like they need success straight away now again. Does he need time to kind of build? You've had brilliant underage teams, All Ireland winning minor teams, and you know, brilliant club teams and that. Does Paddy Tally need a bit of time now? It just seems with Derry now, everyone just wants success instant again. Is that possible, or what do you think you're feeling with this new management team at Derry?
I suppose that them couple of years they got of winning Ulsters back to back, then the fans thought to themselves, we're riding high here. Now it's time to make the most of it. I suppose in the way things panned out. And then last year, I suppose, winning the National League, and then thought they could go on to things better, but obviously the championship didn't go according to plan. Look, Paddy's probably had it tough, as everybody's alluded to, the injuries. So it is, and it's probably been a problem with Derry over this last number of years as well. It's just the lack of depth, where Ryan was talking earlier on about how strong Donegal are, and like if they lost a couple of key players, they've meant to come in there and do a job. When in Derry, if they lost a couple of key players, there seems to be problems there in replacing them. Even that day again, Donegal, the league, when Brenton went off and Owen McAvoy went off, I know you're saying maybe Donegal got the grips around the midfield a wee bit more, but losing them two men at that key time was a big blow for them. So look, do you want to keep changing managers every year? Absolutely not. So I suppose you have to give Paddy time and see how things go, and hopefully he gets maybe a clean bill of health and starts afresh maybe from next year, even though this year's still well and truly on the go. But
listen, Ryan Enda makes a good point there. You know, obviously Rogers going off, and Murphy's dominance, and McAvoy as well. He's a key man for him. Is there something in that, Ryan, where Donegal need to be a bit guarded, because Derry did play really well in that game, and if those guys are back and those few injuries that we're talking about, if a couple of them come good, you know, Derry are still coming in there with formidable. They obviously probably think at this point, particularly after the defeat in Celtic Park last year, they really owe Donegal one. They played really well for the majority of that game in Ballyshannon. So in many ways, Paddy Tally could spin this into a thing here. This could be one of our greatest victories. They will come really chomping at the bit, you know, in terms of like they owe Donegal at this point, you know.
Oh, definitely. You can't take it for granted just by going the way the league has went. You know, Derry's still they're back-to-back Ulster champions a few years ago. They're still great players in that squad. Donegal have to be at it on Sunday. You know, they can't come in thinking that, you know, this is a one going by the form book. You know, they have to be on their toes and be ready for it. And you know, maybe Derry could come with something different on Sunday. You know, I know they have a lot of injuries, but you know, it's still a championship game. You know, you just don't know what's going to happen. But if you're going by the form, you'd have to have Donegal favours, but that means nothing on championship. You know.
Have you a wee feeling in there? And I know your Derry heart's going to tell you there's a chance, but how much of a chance would you give your boys coming in this weekend?
I would give them a slight chance, Brendan. Look, do I think they can go and give a performance? Yeah. Do I think it'll be good enough to beat Donegal? No, I don't. But I'd say all Derry fans at the minute, all they want to see is that the team gives a good real account of themselves. And look here, whatever happens after that happens. But as long as they go and show that bit of energy, bit of passion, and give it their all, then I don't think anybody can have any complaints.
Yeah. And do you see a big statement performance maybe from Donegal on it, Ryan? We know, as you're saying, Jim, there's real control there and real tactics. So that on the day thing maybe isn't, championship's not really about that anymore. It's about control. It's about the method and sticking to what you're doing night after night at training. So you have a fair idea the level of performance Donegal is going to have. And if something is going a bit against us, we have the man himself, Murphy. Should he not start to come on, I'd imagine he'll probably be held back, Ryan. But I mean, what a player to have coming in again, and just your time playing with him, the effect that he is having on that group.
Oh, it's massive for the squad. I was saying to people there, it's just for the young boys in the squad. Seeing Michael come back in, it's going to lift them. It's going to lift them in training, that extra 10 or 15%. You've seen what he's done when he's come on the game so far. He's lifted the whole team. He's lifted the crowd. The noise levels just went up. The performance levels went up. I do think they'll hold him back, and then if we're in any kind of trouble, they'll bring him on. But Donegal have been training for this game for the last 4 or 5 months. They haven't been training for any league game. They haven't been training for. This is what they've been training for the last 5 months. It's the first round of the championship. So all their tactics of training for the last 4 or 5 months will be based on Derry on Sunday. So Donegal will. I don't think there'll be any surprises for them. I think they have the homework done on Derry for all scenarios. And I just think if we have a fully fit squad on Sunday, we should have enough.
Yeah, very good, lads. Listen, really looking forward to this. And just a word, you would have come across Martin Corey and Joe McMahon many's the time, between playing and coaching and that. What a shock yesterday, the two lads walking away. And listen, you've been in many management teams there as well. It's about harmony. It's about the top man. Making sure everybody has their voice in that. I thought that was a serious coaching ticket at Meath coming in with Brennan. Can you believe what's happened? The two lads walked away. I was just shocked at this. And the eve of championship, just when Meath were last day, almost went up to Division 1. It just seems amazing.
It was a strange one, all right. I actually just heard it yesterday morning. I was told it, and I couldn't believe it. I don't know what else went on there. Obviously, maybe the boys haven't got a say in what way they want things to work out. Obviously, so they've decided if we're not going to have that, then there's no point in us being about. So, but again, I'm only reading in between the lines. I don't know. But
see him, but the thing about them, Enda, the morning yourself, for two great men. I thought Meath were so lucky to get, because anybody you talked to in the morning setups that Corey was in, and the same with Joe, very, very shrewd guys and very well got by the players.
Yeah, there seems to be a big word on both of them, so there is. So it's a strange one now, and as you say, just coming up the championship, it's a funny one, all right. So, but I don't know what just went on there now.
They'll be snapped up soon. I would say there's a lot of clubs there putting the call in straight away, boys.
Totally, yeah.
They'll not be hanging about too long. Listen, Enda Muldoon, former Derry star, and of course Ryan Bradley, former Donegal Ireland winner. Lads, thanks so much for joining us this evening, DL Debate.
No bar, thank you.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Thanks, lads.
See you around.
Top stuff, boys. Top stuff.
See you around.
Lads, I'll be back. I'll be back. Thanks, boys. I'll be back after the break, lads, with Peter Canavan.
The DL Debate with Sister Sarah's Letterkenny, serving food you'll love till 9 p.m. daily in Sarah's Kitchen. And there's free admission entertainment every weekend.
This is an important message for all drivers. From March 31st, the law is changing. When you renew or take out motor insurance, you'll need to provide your driver number. It's on your driving licence, listed under point 4D, so make sure you have it to hand. Without your driver number, you won't get insured. Double check that you have your licence, and if you can't find it, take steps to have a valid licence in time for your insurance renewal date. This message is brought to you by Insurance Ireland and the Motor Insurers Bureau of Ireland in support of a Government of Ireland initiative.
Motto méidir cliste agat, becheartert plan méidir cliste o Electric Ireland oil freshen. Leis an bhuiineh úsáideann tú a bhrisise síos bhealach nar fachas hana. Ón teas, cócaireacht, sailsiú agus tuile, fáil amach an méid bhuiineh úsáideann tú. In aine húra, an lei agus an cinál fearras atá I gceist. Ag déanamh an úsáid níos soléire agus saol níos giile. Le plan méidir cliste ag electricireland.ie. Is go méidir cliste bheith agat, téirmí agus cinílacha a bhaim.
The DL Debate with Sister Sarah's Letterkenny, serving food you'll love till 9 p.m. daily in Sarah's Kitchen. And there's free admission entertainment every weekend.
Yes, folks, I said at the top of the show, I caught up with Peter Canavan and Canavans up in Ballygolly there. We stayed up in Friday night. I got a few words with the man himself. Peter, we've hardly time to take breath. A massively interesting league. Championships around the corner. But first of all, your own county, Tyrone, very unlucky. 7 points and went down on a head-to-head after a great performance against Dublin. What was your measure of the league?
Well, if you had told me at the start of the year we were going to be relegated, Brendan, I would have been very disappointed. I am very disappointed. But the way things panned out, the longer the year went on, the better we began to play. And it was surprising, even though we went down on Sunday, the amount of people that left Healy Park thinking we're going to have something to look forward to here in the summer, that the boys are starting to motor and play well together. So absolutely, if you had said that at the start of the year you were going to give me 7 points, it probably would have took that, believing we're going to stay up. But the fact we didn't have the Errigal lads for the first 3 games, maybe it paid the price for that. But look, there's a lot of strong teams in Division 1. There was at the start of the year. There's going to be 2 decent teams relegated, and we're there in Division 2 next year, and we're going to have to do our best to get out of it, but we'll meet that problem when we come to it.
Certainly, Peter. And when you look at it, I suppose Armagh winning All Ireland from Division 2, Donegal winning Ulster, in terms of a Rogue's plan, is it that much of a big deal? And even if you look at it, the particularly against Galway, I suppose that late indiscretion, which was accidental, that gave Galway the draw. So all in all, it was very unlucky for Tyrone to go down. But do you think in any way it hampers the plan going into, the following season that you're in Division 2? In many ways it didn't affect Donegal and Tyrone. So for O'Rourke, he probably didn't want to go down, but not really, I suppose, that big of a deal.
Well, there's a couple of things when you talk about teams going down from Division 1 this past couple of years. Until we get a setup or a league where everybody's trying to win every game, then it's, there's always teams. There was teams went down last year whereby there was teams at the top didn't put out their strongest team. We benefited from that last year when Mayo came up, and clearly they didn't want to be in the top 2. They played a weakened team against us. We benefited from it this year. We went down to Letterkenny. Clearly Donegal didn't want to make the top 2. So different years teams have gone down maybe on the back of games not being thrown, but teams, managers feeling a weakened team or their second team trying to do their best but still not the best team. So I think moving forward, if things are done right, there's going to be no games whereby you're playing again a second string. There's a reason to finish higher up or to try and win it. But in terms of Division 2 football, certainly I'm sure it wasn't part of Malachy's plan that they take Tyrone down. You want to be playing against the Kerrys, the Dublins, the Donegals, and every game in the league this year, I was looking forward to it. You're looking forward to playing again those teams, and no disrespect to teams in Division 2, they just mightn't be the same attraction, but we're there because we didn't play well enough against Armagh, because we didn't play well enough against Mayo, and we're there because we didn't get enough points, bottom line. So there's not a case of feeling sorry for yourself here. We lost games that we should have done better in, and that's the bottom line.
Is it a bit disrespectful to the league? You've seen it all as a player in terms of winning and titles and that. The way we really enjoy the league, is the league itself then as a title, is it being a bit diminished now by the way it's squashed into our season?
It is, absolutely. It is. For the reasons that I've said, that you can't say hand on heart that the 2 best teams in Division 1 are Kerry and Mayo. So until we get that sorted, whereby there is a break between the league, you will have the best teams playing, and it should mean something to get playing in Croke Park and to win a national title. I played in 3 National League finals and we went out to win every single one of them, and it did mean every game. Derry beat us in 92, and that was a young thrown team, a lot of young thrown players, and that was important, really important for us to try and win a league title. We've only won it twice, in 02 and 03, and it was pivotal in us winning an All-Ireland title. So, and you went out to do everything to try and win it, and that's the way it should be, and that's the way I think other teams did at the time too. But it'll not take much to change it. It's just literally a week's break, and everybody will be hell bent on trying to get. And the benefit, I don't care what county you are or how often you've played in Croke Park, the more you play in big games there, it's fantastic. It does take a bit of getting used to, and it's no coincidence either the times that Kerry have won it in recent years, they've also won the league. So it should be a really important competition whereby people should be champing at the bit to try and get into a league final and to try and win it.
Just looking ahead to Ulster Championship, you've had some great tussles with Derry over the years, of course, and Donegal. But Derry now sitting the way they are, a wee bit written off. They were 8 points up against Donegal and Ballyshannon a few weeks back in a National League game. Is it something now where everybody's basically saying that Donegal is going to have too much for Derry? Are Derry a dangerous proposition heading into this game?
If Donegal take them lightly, yes, but I don't think that's going to be the case. And early days, Paddy Talley was bemoaning the fact that his panel, his strength and depth, he felt wasn't good enough, and that was something that he was going to try and work on. And even since he said that, he's lost 2 or 3 key players. And I think when the draw was made, I was really looking forward to the clash of Derry and Donegal. The longer the league has went on, I'm not looking forward to it to the same extent, because I don't think going into the last 10 minutes it's going to be competitive. I think Donegal will have the game won going into the last 10 minutes, because I don't think Derry can match Donegal without Kieran McFall, without Brendan Rodgers, and they've numerous other players that are out as well. I just think that they're severely hampered, and they would have needed all those players on board if they were to get something out of the game, and it's very much advantage Donegal.
Long range, I suppose people are looking at Galway, Dublin, Kerry, and then they're looking at Armagh, Tyrone and Donegal in particular has maybe been a step ahead of the rest. Would you think that Monaghan sitting out, would they have enough to take out a Donegal or a Derry in the following game? And do you think that top 5-6 is the only people you would find as All-Ireland potentials?
Well, I would like to say that a team from Division 2 is going to win the All-Ireland this year, but I can't see that happening. And what Monaghan and what Roscommon could do is take a big team out of it, but they've both struggled to put back-to-back performances together in recent years, and I think that could still be their problem moving forward. I'd say Davy Hyland very frustrated because he knows the quality that exists in Roscommon, and he hasn't been able to get that consistency out of them in the league. Like the second last game, he was so disappointed with the way they play. So we've seen them last year. They can hurt anybody. They have the forwards that can hurt anybody, but they'll be doing really. I don't think they'll come out of Connacht, to be honest, this year. To me, the teams that are really well set up with the new rules are Kerry and Galway. I've said Donegal from the start, not because I'm chatting to you. At the very start of the year, I predicted Donegal to win the All-Ireland if there's one team that I was going to put my money on. And I would be of the mindset now that the team that beats Donegal will win the All-Ireland.
Yeah, there you have it there. Peter Canavan back in the Donegal boys for the whole thing. Yeah, I'm sure Jim McGillis would like to hear that, all right. We'll keep the head down for now anyway, and we'll concentrate on Derry. But that was Peter Canavan's take. Always great to talk to Peter one of the icons of the game. Now I'm joined by Conor McShane. Conor is playing for the Donegal Masters. He's also the chairman of the Masters, and they had a trip to Glasgow Celtic and over to Scotland the weekend promoting the game. Conor, how are you getting on?
Not too bad, Brendan. Just recovering from a heavy weekend.
Sorry, I know what it's like. I'm with you on that one, my man. Listen, we'll go easy on each other. Conor, listen, I had a quick chat to Big Brian McLaughlin there, a good mate of mine. He's playing with you. I didn't realise you were out in the Celtic pitch and everything in front of the supporters. That must have been an unreal experience.
Yeah, it was just an unreal experience now for all the players. It was kind of recognition of the links between the GAA and the soccer and Ireland and Scotland. And it was an unbelievable experience to get the opportunity.
And what was it? The trip was set up after the success. There was another master squad over there too. Was it kind of like a fundraiser plus kind of promotion of the games and the links and that? Was that what the trip was about?
Yeah, Scotland GAA were looking to do a fundraiser. They're going to develop a cultural sports centre in Glasgow. They haven't really got a base as such where they can use. They're currently using shared facilities where a number of sports are involved in, and they really want to set a milestone for the future to have a place where they can call their home, and which will be the benefit for people that'll go there to play sport in years to come. And you know yourself, when you're away from home, the Irish community is a massive thing, to a place that you can make connections and get to know people. And it is to promote. Suppose they're looking to build a cultural sports centre there, and have their pitches all together in the one facility. And this was the first event really to develop that. So it was a massive fundraising. We've started off with a gala dinner on the Friday night. We played a game against Tyrone Masters. We're invited over as guests as well, and then we're off to Celtic Park for the Celtic Hearts game with the parade at half time on the pitch to suppose recognise our links, as was saying.
You didn't get to kicking O'Neill's into the net up there, no?
Well, now one of the players, I'll have to mention it now you ask, one of the players had an attempt from the halfway line. He's
right.
His name is Gary Gillen from Convoy, but unfortunately for Gary, he pulled it left of the post now, so there'll be no contract for him at Celtic.
Kevin Cass didn't have a go. Was he over there too?
Kevin was over. Kevin was one of the panelists on the Friday night, and they had an open panel discussion along with Packy Bonner, Eilish Gormley, who's a former LGFA player for Tyrone, and Sarah Sullivan from Cork Camogie. So it was an interesting weekend and an interesting Friday night as well.
Very good, very good. And by interesting, you mean it was all hands to the pump?
Yeah, well, listen, there was plenty of discussion and plenty of past stories, and
Big Brian, he would have been in bed early. That's his form.
Big Brian, yeah, he's a quiet fella, as you know, and he was in bed early. Now you know what early means.
Yes,
Big Brian.
Conor, do you know what? It sounded like a brilliant experience and a great weekend, and the Masters is a great competition, of course. What about looking into the new season now you've fixed?
Yeah, listen, I suppose we've put a big drive on there to recruit players, and one of your former guests there on the show, John Joe O'Shea, is trying to time down to a contract, Ryan Bradley there. So
good man to have.
If you can put the message back to Ryan,
yes.
We're looking forward to welcoming him into the group.
Very
but
good.
yeah, no, things are going well so far. We train once a week in Convoy there on a Tuesday night, and the lads are really excited. We've a couple of new faces in, and it's all positive so far.
Yeah, brilliant stuff, Conor. I had a quick chat to Brian, but I'll have a better one down the tracks just to hear the ins and outs of this trip behind the scenes there, if you like. But for now, Conor, thanks so much for joining us, and good luck with the season ahead.
Thanks very much, Brendan.
Cheers. That's Conor McShane there. We'll be back after this break, folks. We're going to talk to McCool's Gary Wilson.
Make more with fish at Dunn Stores, with everything you need for a seafood dinner. Visit our fishmonger and pick up a fresh side of salmon for just €15.99. Or mix and match 3 for €10 on your choice of 14 delicious seafood options, like hake fillets and succulent king prawns. Plus, save at the till with a 5 off 25 grocery voucher. Dunn Stores, always better value. Terms and conditions apply. Voucher can be used on next in-store grocery shop of €25 or more.
The DL Debate with Sister Sarah's Letterkenny, serving food you'll love till 9 p.m. daily in Sarah's Kitchen. And there's free admission entertainment every weekend.
Yes, welcome back. That was a quick break, Joe. Didn't even get time to make a cup of tea or nothing. Hey, but listen, we're joined Gary Wilson. Gary, on the line there? Gary, can you hear me? Are you muted there, Gary? Can you hear me, Gary? I see you're there, anyway. I can see your name, but I can't hear you, dude. Gary, checking once, checking twice. Should have kept that a break. Have we got another one, Joe? Do you know what we'll do? We'll get Gary on the phone. We'll phone him just on the landline here, and we'll get him across after this. We have another very quick break to take.
Indulge yourself with friends or a loved one at the Spa at Orchids at the Holyrood Hotel in Bundoran. A midweek or weekend spa break is the perfect way to escape from life for a while. Take a leisurely walk along the Atlantic coast. Enjoy a dip in our private pool, a plunge in our Canadian hot tub, and treatments of your choice before dining in one of the Holyrood Hotel's acclaimed restaurants. The Spa at Orchids. Book now at holyroodhotel.com.
The DL Debate with Sister Sarah's Letterkenny, serving food you'll love till 9 p.m. daily in Sarah's Kitchen. And there's free admission entertainment every weekend.
Yes, folks, welcome back to the DL Debate. Joe scrambling here. We're just going to get Gary across the line. Of course, we have a big up to the match coming up in the Ballard Theatre this Saturday night, pre-Donegal and Derry, and there's a host of top GA personalities coming, and we're gonna shoot the breeze now with Gary. I think we got you on there now. How's it going, Gary?
Brendan, how are you?
Lad, great to chat to you. Hey, we got you on there, Gary. Just we're just going to set up this big up for the match night. I'm coming up to MC it. Really looking forward to it. Can you tell us the breakdown of the night? And we're in the Ballard Theatre, up on stage. Boy, hard to beat.
Aye, and look, I suppose the first thing we've got to do is thank the Ballard Theatre, Conor Malone there. He's our minor board chairman, and no cost, no issue. He sorted it all for us. We're up on stage this year. Last year was a great success, Brendan, as you know yourself, with yourself up when you were joined there with Frank and Tara Lynch and Tony Boyle and all the boys. So we're trying to build on that success. And this year, obviously, with the Derry boys coming into town, we've Mr. Chrissy McKay coming there, we have Tony Scullion, and then we'll have the Donegal side represented by Declan Boner and Paul Durkin. And then we have kind of media men then, if you want to call them. We have John Hearn then representing the Donegal side, and we have Mal McMullen then from Gaelic Life. So a nice spread of people there to engage us on the night, you know.
Yeah, sounds brilliant. It's quite a bit of work pulling these nights together, Gary. People don't realise the amount of stuff in the background and calls and setting up and what have you. What time's it kicking off?
It's kicking off at 8 o'clock. It's kicking off at 8 o'clock in the Ballard Theatre. So anywhere time on around 8 o'clock. And there's a lot. You can pay in on the night. There's tickets online. If you go into the Ballard Theatre and through the Facebook page or the website, you'll get links for the website. You can buy them online. You can also go in through the club page, and what the club has done there is they've tagged all the other GA clubs in the county as well. So if you don't see it on your own club's page, you'll see it on our page, and that'll get you into a link, and you can click the link and it'll get you in pay that way. But you can also pay at the door as well.
Yeah. And Gary, you know, is it something there that I noticed McCool's and yourself and that are quite proactive and doing these types of things and really promoting the club and maybe thinking a wee bit outside the box? Is it something you think, you know, other clubs could take up as well, these kind of nights? Because any of them I go to, people seem to love them, you know, and you know, outside of the GA chat and the entertainment, just everybody coming together with the interest and the love of Gaelic games.
Well, that's it. You know, everybody's looking for, I suppose, the nuggets of the inner world of the inter-county. You know, it's very guarded secrets and all and there. So everybody's kind of keen to hear these wee stories. You know, so I know St Eunan's, you've run your own one there very successfully last year. Glenswilly held one last year. Muff held one in preparations of their All Ireland achievements. You know, so they are fantastic nights, and as you say, it brings people together, and it might be just all your own people. We found last year that there was people come down from Glenfann, and people have travelled down from Ahayarn and Killygordon and all these places. So it can open it up to the wider community as well, and that's ultimately what we want to achieve. We'd like to see as many Derry people, hopefully maybe coming up, maybe taking in a Saturday night in Balbuffet, attend as possible as well. So we've sent it off down there to the PROs down there as well. So we're hoping it's a fantastic night, because it was really, really good last year. You know yourself, Brent, you hung about for a wee while as well. It was good being able to shoot the breeze with the likes of Tony and Frank, and maybe conversations you never had with them, you know, that you kind of hear different sides of stories and things like that, you know, so it's really, really good.
Yeah, I hear you. It's a close shop. I was laughing with Ryan Bradley earlier because I was asking about Jim Mark 1, and we were joking that even at this stage he doesn't want to say what happened in the background, such as the mental approach to keeping everything closed in, you know.
Aye, and that's it. Look, it's big business, Brendan, as you know now. It's I suppose it's not just a matter of 2 training sessions a week in a game. It's a lot goes into it, and the secrecy and guarding tactics and one thing and another. Even Oshin there, you wouldn't get very much out of him now down around the club, like, you know, and everything's kind of just closely guarded, and that's fair, you know, and they're trying to do their best for Donegal and try and win in All Ireland, so these things need protected, you know.
Yeah, and listen, he's been rested now the last couple of games. I'm looking for a big one from Farah now, boy, and listen, he'll deliver, no doubt. Tell me, just match day then, reduced down the last couple of minutes, Gary. It's a huge process, you know. Again, people probably in the background, the whole McCool's club, obviously, and all the volunteers are all involved in these huge championship days. With Derry coming to Balbuffet.
It's massive. Like the effort that goes in, not just the day of, the week of. Like there's an executive meeting now. I'm standing out here, stand over the print. The two sets of training sessions going on here in the practice field, because there's an executive meeting going on, and that's where all the planning will be done. And then there'll be a drive by the Assistant Secretary, Alan Martin, and he'll be trying to recruit anywhere in the region of 50 to 70 volunteers, and then trying to get them dotted all over the ground. And then there's car parks that need manned during the game. There's turnstiles that always need open. There's all these things, shops going. There's toilets need maintained. It's a lot of stuff that you wouldn't sort of think of. You know, you just see the main turnstile, and there's the people standing about. But it's the people away off from the shops, and there's people need to open the press box to let you guys in. There's a lot of work in it, you know. But the club loves it, you know, and it's a big day, and it really showcases the club, you know, and the facilities that we have, and you know, we've got a new gym opened up, like, and if we could find a way to show people that as well, you know, it would be really, really good. And what we try to do is just tie this on to make it nearly like a weekend of celebration of Gaelic football in Donegal and Balbuffet, you know.
Good man. Listen, guy, that's first class. That's really, really looking forward to it. Of course, so many good things going on with Cal McCann. Had a great night there last year as well through the club. Mental health awareness night went really well too. So listen, Gary, first class, looking forward to it. I'll see you up there Saturday evening.
Brilliant, Brendan. Thank you very much, and I appreciate you coming up again for us. You're a good servant to the club. Thank you.
Not at all. Anything to help out. That's Gary Wilson there. Really looking forward to it at the weekend. As I say, that reads us up for the show. Stay tuned for the excellent Monday night sessions. And of course, the beautiful Paul McDevitt. He's here looking to get in, itching to get on, to get the music out for you all. I want to thank all my guests, as ever. Joe Dex for producing.